Good evening, everyone. We'll start the event in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll start the session soon. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's an honor itself to honor this amazing audience who has gathered here. I, Meghna Surampudi, welcome you all on behalf of whole SmartInternz on this exclusive Build-A-Thon by the SmartInternz, SmartBridge in collaboration with IBM and IEEE Tunisia. Today, we mark this date as an event to help us all gain a better perspective on the trending technologies, and I really appreciate you all in investing your time to learn and indulge in the great learnings. Before the launch, let me first acknowledge the presence of some of our eminent guests here. Mr. Mahmoud El Habib, Skills Initiative Leader, IBM, Mr. John Matago, Global University Programs Leader, IBM Academic Initiative, Professor Adel Almi, IEEE Tunisia Section Past Chair, Mr. Nitin Jain, CFO and Director of Asia SmartBridge. Without further ado, please permit me to start the program. We feel honored to have with us today Mr. Muhammad Al Habib, a firing and passionate leader with the experience of working in numerous domains such as IT service management, sales, pre-sales consulting, and management in the first place. He taught him a humble career as a technical consultant as he rose to the position of a skills initiative leader with an enormous experience of working in the IT and service industry. Mr. Mahmoud, you are the lead now.
Thank you, Meghana. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mahmoud, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yes, please. Thanks. So I think I will switch to French if you don't mind, so I can just give a small talk and then I will hand over to you. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Sure. Okay, great. Donc, bonjour tout le monde, chers étudiants, chers panélistes, mesdames et messieurs, les organisatrices, les organisateurs. Je me présente rapidement. Donc, c'est Mohamed Habib Ben Houman. Donc, je suis responsable de tout ce qui est Skills Initiative qui rentre dans le programme IBM de tout ce qui est développement des skills au niveau des nouvelles technologies, au niveau de l'Afrique francophone. Et aujourd'hui, je suis très ravi d'être parmi vous dans cet événement qui est très important, cet événement qui est très, on va dire, stratégique, que ce soit pour IBM ou bien pour les jeunes d'aujourd'hui. Et aujourd'hui, en fait, cet événement s'inscrit un petit peu dans la stratégie de IBM pour pouvoir développer les skills au niveau du digital, au niveau de la région, on va dire Middle East africain, mais aussi au niveau mondial. Donc, la participation d'IBM dans cet événement, comme vous savez, on va dire l'événement, il est un petit peu 100% IBM en termes de technologie, mais aussi en termes de, on va dire, de quelle est l'importance de la technologie pour les jeunes et pour la région au niveau de, c'est-à-dire la région africaine pour IBM. En fait, aujourd'hui, quand on parle on parle beaucoup de transformation digitale, on parle du rôle de la technologie dans notre vie aujourd'hui. En fait, on voit, on va dire, une panoplie d'événements qui se font au niveau virtuel sur tout ce qui est sur l'importance de la technologie, etc. Aujourd'hui, je vais essayer quand même de parler rapidement sur l'impact de technologie sur un certain nombre de volets qui sont très importants. On parle de l'impact de la technologie au niveau individu, on parle de l'impact de la technologie au niveau de l'organisation, et aussi on parle de l'impact de la technologie au niveau, on va dire, de l'emploi. Et quand on parle de l'impact de la technologie au niveau de l'individu, on voit clairement aujourd'hui que, par exemple, les smartphones, tout ce qui est achat à distance, tout ce qui est paiement à distance, tout ce qui est télémédecine. On a vu en fait au niveau de cette période de Covid, si on n'avait pas cet accès et cette maturité technologique, ça aurait été une catastrophe sur tous les niveaux, que ce soit au niveau des, on va dire, de l'éducation, au niveau de tout ce qui est, on va dire, médecine, etc. Et ça, c'est très important. Aussi, il y a l'impact de la technologie sur les organisations. Aujourd'hui, les organisations, et là je parle, c'est un client IBM, les organisations sont amenées à repenser leur modèle business, d'accord, à repenser leur modèle business en intégrant la technologie. Parce que rappelons-nous des entreprises telles que Nokia, telles que un certain nombre, tels que Kodak, etc., qui étaient un petit peu leaders dans leur domaine qu'ils étaient en fait leaders dans leur domaine il y a quelques années, mais aujourd'hui, ils ont un petit peu disparu on va dire, du terrain de compétition technologique. Pourquoi? Tout simplement parce que la technologie avance d'une vitesse de célérité aujourd'hui, et si les entreprises on va dire, ne suivent pas et n'anticipent pas, on va dire, cette transformation et n'essayent pas de repenser leur modèle business en incluant la technologie, en mettant la technologie au cœur de leur on va dire, de leur stratégie, eh bien, dans quelques années, ils vont disparaître. On n'entendait pas parler de Uber, de Facebook, d'Amazon il y a 20 ans, il y a 10 ans, 20 ans. Aujourd'hui, c'est un petit peu les leaders mondiaux, et je pense que vous, en tant que jeune qui êtes on va dire, né dans le domaine de la technologie ou bien dans l'ère technologique, vous êtes les mieux placés pour pouvoir mener cette transformation, comme j'ai dit, que ce soit au niveau individuel, organisationnel, mais aussi au niveau du marché de l'emploi, et de pouvoir en bénéficier le maximum. Il y a aussi l'impact de cette technologie au niveau de l'emploi. Aujourd'hui, on voit clairement qu'il y a de nouveaux jobs qui sont en train d'être créés. On voit clairement qu'il y a des types d'emplois qui sont en train de disparaître. On va dire, ces types d'emplois classiques qui est de moi, je prends un diplôme et je cherche un emploi et j'y reste pendant 20 ans, 25 ans, 30 ans, et puis je prends ma retraite. Ce type de process ne va plus exister. C'est un type de process qui est en train de disparaître. Et il faudra penser clairement comment même aussi réinventer on va dire tout ce qui est emploi. Vous, en tant que jeune, il faut vraiment penser start-uping, il faut vraiment penser c'est-à-dire il faut avoir ce mindset d'entrepreneuriat, même si on est, on va dire, même si on est salarié au niveau d'une entreprise. Et donc, tout ça, peut-être, on va dire, tout ça, la technologie est en train de repenser, la technologie est en train de modifier modifier la donne pour pouvoir, on va dire, se projeter dans le futur et se projeter dans un nombre on va dire, d'emplois, de types d'organisation, de types de business, etc. Et donc, IBM, dans tout ça, on est conscient de tout ça, on est au cœur de tout ce qui se fait au niveau de la technologie, et on est présent au niveau mondial pour pouvoir accompagner les jeunes, accompagner les startups à travers des plateformes de formation, à travers la mise en place la mise, on va dire la mise en place et l'accès à la technologie IBM pour les étudiants, pour les universités, pour les startups, avec des programmes d'accompagnement, de formation. Pourquoi? Tout simplement pour pouvoir accompagner ces jeunes, on va dire les aider et leur montrer un petit peu où va la technologie et comment le monde est en train de changer, tout simplement grâce à la technologie. Donc voilà, donc je vous souhaite un très bon événement avec on va dire, beaucoup de choses à apprendre. Nous avons mobilisé des formateurs IBM et des coachs IBM pour pouvoir vous accompagner durant les sessions de formation de cette semaine, pour pouvoir vous aider à prendre en main les technologies IBM et un petit peu découvrir ce beau monde en fait, fait de technologie. Nous avons aussi mis à disposition une plateforme qui s'appelle IBM Digital Nation Africa. Vous pouvez juste taper sur Google, sur laquelle vous allez pouvoir créer un compte gratuit, pouvoir suivre des cours gratuitement, totalement gratuitement, avec la possibilité d'avoir des badges sur tout type de technologie, faire des exercices, avoir un accès cloud gratuit. Donc, www.digitalnationafrica. Donc, je pense que les organisateurs vont par la suite partager avec vous on va dire les détails par rapport à cette plateforme-là. Il y a aussi d'autres plateformes qui vont être présentées par mes collègues. Donc, n'hésitez pas à prendre, on va dire, à prendre part de cet événement. Et voilà, donc je vous remercie et je vous souhaite voilà, good luck. Thank you so much, Megana. Donc, the floor is yours. And thank you so much for everyone. And good luck for the event.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahmoud. We're really fortunate to have your guidance and support with us. Thank you. So, next, I would like to call upon Mr. Nitin Jain. Nitin has 20 years of experience with General Electric in growing and transforming business, managing global teams, and executing growth strategy in the Asian region. With a track record of setting up business from scratch, executing transformation projects, driving business integration for strategic acquisitions, and improving profitability by driving productivity and managing risk, Nitin is nothing less than any inspirational person, and he's a resourceful, agile, and a change agent. Uh, Nitin, it's really an absolute pleasure for me to call you up here. Nitin, you are the lead now.
Thank you so much for that, Meghna. Hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah, you're audible, Nitin. Please go ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the call. I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of SmartBridge to welcome you all to the program. Unfortunately, I will not be able to speak in French. I will continue in English. I just wanted to actually tell you a little bit about SmartBridge and what we have been doing as a platform. So our platform actually started back in 2015. And ever since then, we have worked very closely with IBM and with a lot of universities and students in India and other parts of the world. So it's been our mission to help students, faculty, and companies actually come together and learn all about new and emerging technologies. So we actually have our own faculty, our own course curriculum, and our platform is something that you will experience as you go through the Productathon. We firmly believe that the best way to learn is by hands-on, by doing project-based learning, by doing practice. And everything that we have done in the design of the platform actually is designed to achieve that. So since 2015, we have trained almost 35 to 40,000 students. We have worked very closely with about 350 plus colleges like yourself. And we are extremely, extremely happy to be here with you. And we hope that this becomes something of a recurring event and we can continue to partner and support knowledge, learning, and any other kind of opportunities with yourself and the platform, right? So our team is extremely experienced and they bring with them years of knowledge in coaching and delivering knowledge to the students. So please definitely take the opportunity to ask as many questions as you like and to engage as actively as you can as you go through this initiative. So I welcome you all again to this program. Meghna, over to you.
Thanks a lot for your valuable oration, Mr. Nitin Jain. Happy to have you with us today. So moving on next, I would like to introduce Mr. Ghazi, who is an IEEE student branch chairman. Ghazi is a second-year ICT student at a higher school of communications of Tunis. He's the founder and the past chairman of IEEE ROS chapter, and currently he's the chairman of IEEE student branch. So, Ghazi, You're the leader.
Hello, and thank you very much for this opportunity. So, Mr. Adil Alimi and Mr. Habib can join due to other things and scheduled events. So, I'll talk on behalf of them. So, hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of the participants in Project Build-A-Thon. Hope that it will be an amazing opportunity to learn new things and technologies. So this event is organized by IEEE in Tunisia in collaboration with SmartInternz and IBM. So IEEE is the world's largest professional association dedicated to advancing technological innovation and excellence for the benefits of humanity. IEEE and its members inspire a global community through its highly cited publications, conferences, technology standards, and professional and educational activities. So Project Build-A-Thon is one of its kind, and it's the biggest bootcamp in Tunisia this year, with more than 1,300 participants. I would like to thank SmartInternz for their initiative, IBM for being our technology partners, and all of our partners and supporting organizations. Thank you very much for your presence and have a nice day.
Thank you, Ghazi. Uh, Now, please permit me to introduce you all to the amazing mentors of the event. Mr. Mohammed Sharif, developer advocate of IBM, Maud, data science and AI technical specialist, IBM, Yusuf Almner, developer advocate, IBM Cloud, Zood, content specialist, come design thinking co-creator, IBM, and Ms. Pradipti, senior AI developer, the SmartBridge. Dear audience, brace yourselves up. All the mentors are ready to sphere of the whole new experience. Once again, on behalf of the whole management of SmartBridge, I thank you all for providing your gracious presence to join us today to enhance our joy. With tons of gratitude and best wishes, I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Pradipti Dugraju. Ms. Pradipti?
Thank you, Meghana. Thank you so much. A warm welcome to one and all. This is Pradipti. Today I'll be introducing you towards what cognitive computing is and what are all the different kinds of applications in it. So before starting this session, I would request every participant to make sure to have a very good interaction with me. And if you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to ask any sort of doubts that you have. So without any further delay, let me start the session. Hope I am audible. If so, please give an acknowledgement in the chat.
You are audible, Pradipti. You can share your screen as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Hemant. Please give me a moment. All right. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. So, hello guys. This session is purely an introductory session regarding cognitive computing with IBM Watson. So I'll tell you what actually cognitive computing is, what are all the different kinds of applications you can build with cognitive computing, and also the features and the landscape of cognitive computing. I just wanted to ask a question. Have you ever seen any sort of disruption in your life? Can someone answer my question? Disruption in the sense a radical change of any entity or any product in your life?
Excuse me, do you mean something like, for example, or watch?
Sorry, your voice is waking. All right. All right. Let me tell my example. So we had only one television in our village to communicate, but today each and every person in the world owns a telephone, right? This is just because of rapid change in the technology that is leading to industry revolutions. Industry revolutions is always dominated and changed the world in a big way. Yes, Ahmed, it could be cinema, it could be payment, it could be any sort of things. The disruption has been upon us. So whenever it comes to revolution industries, the first one was happened in the 18th century, and then the second revolution occurred almost the centuries later, that is 2 centuries later, that is in 20th century. The third one happened only a half century later, while the fourth one was observed within 3 decades. So with the speed of these transformations, we have already entered into the fifth revolution. This technology revolution will be faster and more scalable. It will be adopted by a lot more people, and it will be passionated by all the people as compared to the previous ones. So everyone on the planet will undergo a personal revolution by the kind of technology at their disposal. We can see wearable technology, robots, driverless cars, everything will be readily available, and those will make our lives simpler and faster. Likewise, we have seen so many disruptions in industry. For example, the invention of the wheel is disrupted by a wagon driven by a horse, and later the same wagon turned into a car which is driven by an engine, right? Much later in our history, our phones became smartphones, and which made an impact on the industry. In the same way, companies like Uber has disrupted the taxi industry, Spotify, the music industry, Facebook, the way we communicate, and the Google has become the way to find stuff on the internet. Netflix and similar services brought streaming to our homes, and then video industry disrupted. The video industry was also disrupted. We will experience this disruption again and again and again. So this is the right time for the companies to act as fast as they can, because disruption will keep on happening. Now the question arises, why is this disruption happening? What are the fundamental factors which are forcing these technological disruptions? Well, the technology world was being disrupted by only three fundamental factors. The first and foremost factor is the advancement in machine learning capabilities, which is opening up new applications for predictive analysis, natural language processing, speech recognition, as well as computer vision. And the ability for before mentioned capabilities that I've mentioned before were being offered through APIs on the cloud. And also the amount of data that is available and the potential we have to harness is beyond the traditional approaches. So due to all these factors, technology is advancing at a rapid pace and is also bringing intelligence and cognitive computing with it. So these technologies give us opportunity to augment and enhance human expertise to drive a new way of problem solving, which also improves productivity and also exposes us to new ideas across the industries. All right. So now that you've understood what actually the technology computing is, first of all, you have to know what actually this cognitive computing is. Now, can someone tell me what actually cognitive computing is, if you are aware of? I just wanted to know from you guys. Can you please tell me what actually cognitive computing is? Models, okay, fine. What does that models do? Transformation of data, that's really good. Simulation, all right. All right. So, well, simulating the human thought process, that's really nice. You're giving the good and right responses? Well, we are generating data at immeasurable pace, right? So we are generating data through social media, through IoT devices, through video cameras, every possible way. There is a lot of data. So we need to find a method or a solution that can help us process such data and help us drive useful insights so that we can grow our business. So this could be possible with cognitive computing. Explosion of data over the past few years led to the development of a new type of computer system known as cognitive system. The focus of cognitive system is not about fast calculations on large amount of data with the help of traditional programmings, but cognitive systems are about exploring the data, finding new correlations in the data, so that they can provide new solutions. And also these cognitive systems aims at expanding the boundaries of human cognition. So it's not like it is for replacing and replicating the way human brain works, but these cognitive models provide a realistic roadmap to achieve artificial intelligence. So before going into what actually cognition is and cognitive skills are, let me first drive you through the history of cognitive computing. The concept of intelligent machines has existed for a long time. In 1950, Alan Turing published a paper which emphasizes on possibility of machines which can think. So he created a test called Turing test. This test is basically used to determine whether a computer can think intelligently or not. So if a machine can carry on the conversation like a human, then it is considered that the machine has passed the test. And after that, in 1956, the term artificial intelligence was coined by John McCarthy in Dartmouth Conference. So till today, we have two distinct eras of computing. One is tabulating era, the other is programming era, and now we are entering the third and most transformational era in computing's evolution, which is cognitive era. Tabulating era started in the late 1900s and was really about machines. So here they used single purpose mechanical systems that counted some stuff using punched cards so that they can input some sort of data, count them, and store the data in the database. These helped the tasks such as measuring votes, measuring census data, etc. They did it really well, but were ultimately limited in achieving only single task, which is counting. Then came the programming era. This started with the dawn of our digital computers around 1950s. And the big change here is that you have general purpose computing systems that are programmable. They can be reprogrammed to perform different tasks and do a variety of things. So people created softwares using programming languages so that those softwares can give computers more complex tasks. Their performance was however limited by some sort of inabilities, like those systems cannot find the relationship within the unstructured data, and they can also not talk to a human or interact with a human. So these are the limitations which made the pavement to cognitive computing. Today's cognitive systems understand, learn, and communicate with people in natural language rather than the binary code or the software code. They can extract meaning from large amounts of visual, verbal, and also numerically unstructured information. They're also helping people make complex decisions based on big data. So this era is leading to creation of automated IT systems that are capable of solving problems without human intervention. So to understanding what actually cognitive computing is, first of all, you must be familiar with two words. One is cognition and other is cognitive skills. So now tell me, what do you understand by cognition? Who possess these skills? Cognition or cognitive skills? Humans, right? Yeah. So cognition actually is broadly defined as a mental processes associated with phenomena like attention, memory, reasoning, perception, and also some sort of natural languages. And these cognitive skills are the core skills that your brain uses to think, read, and also pay attention. So working together, they take incoming information and move it to the bank of knowledge you use every day at school, at work, and in life. Now let's get the taste of cognitive systems through the means of an example. Let us consider the following question. Did Maya shoot an elephant in her pajamas? This is the question. Now, can you tell me, do you feel any sort of ambiguities in this statement? I'm repeating the question again. This is just a phrase. Did Maya shoot an elephant in her pajamas? So, can you please tell me what sort of ambiguities you can see in this statement? So the ambiguities is like, did Maya shoot a gun or a photo? Was she wearing the pajamas or elephant wearing the pajamas? So a human mind can resolve the question ambiguities based on the context, right? But a normal computer with analytic software program cannot do it. So likewise, you are telling some sort of things like, why shoot the elephant? Is it not, it is not logical. So that you're responding with different kinds of questions. How do you do that? So your brain is processing that information. You're just searching whether the sentence is correct or not, right? So your brain is processing and you're relating that with some sort of data, and you're saying that there is some sort of sense or not in it, right? So in the same way how our brain is able to work, a cognitive system is also capable of resolving these ambiguities. So first, it creates multiple hypotheses about the meaning of the question elements, such as what object was shooting and who was wearing pajamas. Then it examines those elements against the context of its corpus. So corpus is nothing but the set of documents that consists of essential knowledge, and thus it understands the most likely meaning of the question. Then it can answer the question, providing a measure of its confidence in that answer. So cognitive computing includes technology platforms that combine machine learning, reasoning, natural language processing, speech, vision, and human computer intervention that mimic the human brain. So these capabilities of a cognitive system will help solve problems without human assistance. So cognitive computing involves deep learning as well as big data analytics to provide insights. So now you have understood what cognitive computing is, right? So whenever you are trying to communicate with a system, likewise a human brain is able to process the data in the same way your system processes the data and responds back to the environment. Hope you're clear with what actually cognitive computing is, right? All right. So now that you have understood what cognitive computing is, now let's see what are all the features of a cognitive computing system. Now, first, suppose if you want to build a cognitive computing system, what are all the features that you would want to equip in that system? Let's take, I want to create a chatbot. Let's suppose this is a chatbot. Okay. Now, what are the features that a chatbot should have? Can someone tell me? I'm just taking an example. So each and every cognitive system will have some sort of features. Okay, the first one is language recognition, reading entities. It must understand the language used, text data, being able to understand the request of the humans. Okay. All right. And understanding dialogue. Okay. Fine. So everyone are giving the responses related to the natural language, right? So there are some sort of default features that each and every cognitive system should possess. Those are: the system that you made should be adaptive, it should be interactive, it should be iterative and stateful, and also contextual. Let's see what does this adaptive means. This is the first step in making a machine learning based cognitive system. The solution should mimic the ability of human brain to learn and adapt from the surroundings. So the systems can't be programmed for an isolated task. So it needs to be having capability to gather dynamic data, understand the goals, and act according to the grabbed data. And then that is interactive. Similar to the brain, our brain interact with different kinds of parts of a body, right? Brain is talking to each and every part of a body. In the same way, cognitive solution must interact with all the elements in the system. It could be processors, it could be devices, it could be cloud, or it could be an end user. Cognitive systems should interact bidirectionally. It should understand the human input and provide relevant results using the natural language processing and also some sort of deep learning techniques. So some skilled intelligent chatbots are already there, which are like Mitsuku, Google, Cortana. They have achieved this bidirectional interaction feature. And the next one is it should be iterative and stateful. In the sense, they should remember the previous interaction in the processes and return information that is suitable for this specific application at that point in a time. It should also be able to define the problem by asking questions or finding an additional source. So for example, a human brain, if they want to take any sort of decisions, they map with the previous incidents, they take some sort of experience from that previous incidents and take decisions at the right point, right? In the same way, your cognitive computing should also possess such kind of iterative and decision making, that is statefulness in its capabilities. The next one is contextual. So whenever a human brain able to grab some sort of information, so as soon as I show an image to human brain, it will be able to detect what kind of things are there in that image. Or if I give a music, if I just make human to listen to music, then he can directly infer the information about the music, whether what type of music it is, whether it is a rock band or any other genre, right? In the same way, your machine should understand, identify, and also extract the contextual elements. So they must gather insights from multiple sources of information, including both structured as well as unstructured data. And it is also to gather information from sensory outputs, be it visual, gestural, auditory, or sensor provided. So these are all the features that your cognitive computing system should have. Now, can you please give me some sort of systems that can have these features? Can someone name some of the applications which has any of these things? All right, Cortana Siri I've already discussed. Other than those, autonomous cars, self-driving cars, that's really good. Alexa, all right, yeah. And today we are using, yes, Google Maps. Today we are using so many applications of Google, right? So each and every system, that intelligent system, possess all these features. So if you talk about GPS system, so it can adapt according to the scenario. So based on the traffic and all, it will suggest you the route. So it is interactive. So it is interacting with different routes. It is interacting with this user, right? So you can take a simple example, GPS, and you can correlate all these features in it. And yes, Amazon Web, grammar correction apps. All right. Fine, that's really good. So now you understood what are all the common features that a cognitive system should have, right? In the same way, there is some sort of scope for cognitive system. Let's see what is that scope is. So we already know that traditional computers are very much fast at calculating and processing than humans for decades, but they fail miserably to accomplish tasks that humans do, a normal computer, like understanding the natural language or recognizing unique objects in an image. But this cognitive technology makes such problems computable. So they can respond to complex situations which are characterized by ambiguity and have far reaching impacts on our private lives. And you can also have such kind of applications in healthcare, also in businesses. So according to the study by the IBM Institute of Business, the scope of cognitive computing consists of engagement, decision, and discovery. These three capabilities are related to ways people think and demonstrate their cognitive abilities in everyday life. Now, coming to the engagement, the cognitive systems has vast and huge repositories where they store different kinds of structured and unstructured data. So these have the ability to develop deep domain insights and also provide expert assistance. And the models built by these systems include the contextual relationships between various entities, and it enables to perform hypotheses and also arguments. So the chatbot technology is a very good example of engagement model. Many of the AI chatbots are pre-trained with domain knowledge for quick adoption in different domain specific application. And the next one is decision making. A step ahead of engagement, these have decision making capabilities. So these systems are modeled using reinforcement learning. So cognitive systems takes decisions based on new information, outcomes, as well as actions. So a popular use case of this model is the use of IBM Watson in healthcare. So the system can collect and analyze the data of patient, including his history, diagnosis, the tests he has undergone, and all. And based on those analysis, it can recommend the patients for future diagnosis. So that could be a kind of decision uh, capability in cognitive systems. So all the predictive analytics also comes under decision making. And then comes discovery. So discovery is the most advanced scope of cognitive computing. Discovery involves finding insights and understanding vast amount of information and also developing the intelligence skills. So these models are built on deep learning as well as unsupervised machine learning. So these systems can collect streaming data like text, video, or audio to create an interactive sensing and also inspection. So these systems will provide visualization of real-time monitoring and also analyzing the real-time scenario, which triggers an alert regarding the anomalies. So these three are the main scope for a cognitive solution. Now that you understood what are all the features, what will be the scope of the cognitive computing, now let's see how cognitive computing is different from human. So can someone tell me what is the difference between a cognitive system and a human being? Can you find any differences or any common points between cognitive system and the human brain? So Muhammad is saying it's consciousness, memory, feeling, emotions. All right. Good. emotions, all right, intelligence. So you're telling all the common points or the differences? Are these differences or the common things? Differences, all right. All right. Now, okay, fine. Let's see the difference or any common things in our cognitive system or a human brain. Humans has capability, humans actually have some sort of skill sets that help humans learn, discover, and make decision, right? So humans can apply common sense, morals, and also reasons through some sort of dilemmas. And humans can think of new ideas and sorry, there was a glitch. Yeah. So humans can think of new ideas and make generalizations, and also gather some sort of clues and pieces if some sort of information is missing. But humans are restricted by the amount of time spent to learn, process, and absorb new information, and limited by the unconscious biases we all possesses, which influence the decision we make. Cognitive computing is among the sub-disciplines that shapes artificial intelligence. So it is developing a system that combines the best of human capabilities as well as machine capabilities. Consider capabilities that humans naturally have. So what are all the capabilities a human can have? Like imagination, emotions. These are combined with the capabilities that computers excel at. So computers excel at some capabilities like number crunching or identifying the patterns or processing huge amounts of data and all. So combination of these two becomes a cognitive system. Cognitive system uses techniques such as machine learning, data mining, natural language processing, and pattern matching to mimic the human brain. So such systems are ideal to interact with an increasingly complex world. So based on some sort of human capabilities and also the computer capabilities, a cognitive system is developed. So if you see, these are the right side are the abilities that a human brain has, and I'm sorry, the left side one, and the right side one are the abilities that a cognitive system has. Now that you've understood the difference or the how the cognitive systems are built, let us see the landscape of the cognitive computing. So cognitive computing is being adopted by IBM, and not only IBM, present cognitive computing landscape is dominated by large players. One is IBM, one is Microsoft and Google, but IBM being the pioneer of this technology. IBM has become a pioneer in this technology, and IBM is investing billions of dollars in big data and analytics, and also now spends more than 1/3 of its R&D budget in deploying cognitive computing technology. So let's look at a progress of IBM Watson. Originally, Watson is an IBM supercomputer that combines artificial intelligence and sophisticated analytical software for optimal performance as a question and answering machine, famously featured in a show Jeopardy. Now, not only that, it uses a set of transformational technologies such as natural language processing, image processing, text analytics, and virtual agents. So IBM Watson is leveraging deep content analysis and also evidence-based reasoning. So combined with massive problem. So combining with all these capabilities, Watson can improve decision making, reduce the cost, and also optimize the outcome. So if you see in 2000 to 2006 to 2010, they started working on the cognitive computing era. Then in 2011, as I already told you, the Jeopardy challenge, a machine won the Jeopardy challenge. And then in 2011 to 2013, they worked on validation of data, and now it has so many cognitive capabilities which are equipped in its Watson. And you can also see the statistics on the screen. 29 industries uses the technology, over 36 countries. So many number of developers are using Watson cognitive solutions. 550,000 students in Melbourne are using these solutions, and also 1.1 million patients at Birmingham are using Watson, have used Watson for oncology. And you can see Watson can get trained on 9 languages, and 160 universities are offering Watson courses, and it got partnered with 400 plus entities. So this is the current IBM Watson technology adoption. Now that we have seen how IBM is emerging in cognitive computing, let's see what are all the industries who have adopted cognitive solutions with the help of IBM. So there are so many applications, but these are all already implemented. These applications are already uh, taken by some sort of company. So let me go through some sort of applications. So the first one is it is helping lawyers to get answers for tough and legal research questions. So it's tough keeping up with the latest news in the legal field, and lawyers will spend hours together to grab some sort of information from that legal reports and all. Now we have a startup which is called Ros Intelligence, which helps lawyers find relevant cases using natural language search. So the application allows you to ask a question in a plain English as you would ask a colleague. So as it's just like a conversation with a colleague, and Ros then reads the entire body of law and returns a cited answer. So whenever a lawyer or anyone asks any question regarding the legal entities, then your Ros is readily available to give the answers. And then we have another company which is Woodside. It is in a company in Australia, and it actually trades oil and gas. So it is one of the big nations, one of the successful explorers and also producers of oil and gas. And the challenge faced by this company is basically these Woodside employees will work at offshore for some sort of weeks, and their jobs require extreme precision of these data, that is the oil and gas remote tunneling data and all. So to ensure the precision, they rely on historical context and also some sort of procedural information. Unfortunately, every time an expert with years of knowledge and know who retires, and the experience walks out the door with them. So the question for this outside became, how do you retain the knowledge of senior experts and make it possible for junior employees so that they can locate, analyze, and learn the data from the senior experts? So to make existing knowledge available throughout the company and preserve decades of knowledge, they have turned to IBM and Watson. Woodside Energy built a customized tool that allowed its employees to find detailed answers to highly specific questions, even on remote oil and gas facilities. So Watson got trained with 38,000 Woodside documents, which if a human want to read all the documents, then it will take more than 5 years to read. So with the help of Watson, such kind of knowledge is being shared among the junior employees as well. And the next one is we had a service which is Watson for Oncology, which was used by the Bumrad International. So here 230 millions of oncology records were analyzed by the IBM Watson, and it correctly diagnosed the cancer patients as well as non-cancer patients, and also recommended the treatment that a cancer patient should go through, that he has to go through based on the analysis of his reports. And then we have another company who used IBM Watson services, which is OmniEarth. So in April 2015, the California state mandated a 25 reduction in urban water consumption over a period of 10 months. So it was necessary to understand the pattern of water usage and how they relate to how they relate to the weather and how to set realistic water budgets. This OmniEarth has used the cognitive solution to develop water conservation strategies for drought areas, and also is helping water utilities within the state of California to analyze the aerial images to monitor water consumption on each parcel of land across the state. So we can provide cognitive solutions. Not only, these cognitive solutions not only have taken by the other companies, but you can also provide cognitive solutions for every industry sector. For example, you can have cognitive applications in agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, media and advertisement, transportation, and automotive as well. Now, can you please tell me, how can you apply cognitive solutions in agriculture? I want, how can you build solutions, the cognitive solutions in agriculture? Okay, analyzing the plant needs, all right. Smart irrigation system, quality of seeds, analyzing the terrain, the types of trees you have to plant. That's really good. Yes, so that's really good. So in the agriculture industry, cognitive technologies can be used in various of applications such as crop monitoring, automated irrigation system, automated harvesting system, and AI guided drone system. That's really good. And predicting the best season to seed, predicting the seasonal diseases for crops, most optimal vegetation for soil type. So all these applications can be developed with the help of cognitive computing. And coming to the banking and finance industry, can someone tell me where can you use cognitive solutions in banking and finance? Learn about FAO documentations also. That's really good. All right, I'm getting a very good response from the audience. I'm really stock prediction. All right, so in finance and insurance, you can use it for stock prediction, yes, data analysis, and you can also use some sort of applications like smart wallets, stock trading, fraud detection, etc. Manufacturing the issues, loans provisions for users, whether he's a defaulter or not. Yes, so all these predictive analysis can be of a particular banking plans. Yes, right. Credit scoring. So these all the examples or applications you can build with the help of cognitive computing in insurance and banking sector. Now coming to the manufacturing industry. How can we use cognitive solutions in manufacturing industry? You can create robot integrated systems, computer integrated manufacturing systems, sensor assisted manufacturing systems. Okay, supply chain. All right, you can put for maintenance, predictive maintenance. All those things can come under manufacturing, and also grabbing some sort of analysis in the logistics improves the efficiency. production, predicting dangerous errors. Yeah, those are all the applications that you can leverage in manufacturing. And coming to the healthcare. In healthcare applications, cognitive technologies are used in plethora of applications. You can use cognitive computing to reduce drug discovery time, provide virtual assistant to patient, and also diagnose ailments by processing medical images. And there are so many. Oh, you want to replace doctors? That's good. So you want to train a computer which can work as a doctor, right? Fine. Okay, biosensors. All right. Doctors can be replaced. That's true. Anyways, then we have media and advertising. So some of the core applications of cognitive computing in the industries are like facial recognition, the facial recognition based advertising, computer self-service, etc. So all these things, yeah, study of patient information to give the best medical medicine needed, the recommendation system. All right, good. Detect anomalies, recognizing buying patterns. Yes, so you're giving very good applications. And coming to the transportation and automotive, there are innumerous applications that you can build in this sector, which could be transport, which could be like different modes of transports and their interactions, intelligent and real-time traffic management and control. So planning and designing the traffic management or the transport management, and also traveler information system and services, artificial transportation systems and simulations, surveillance and monitoring systems for transportations. All these can be considered as the applications under transportations and automotive. So now that you have understood what is cognitive computing, which are the companies who have adopted IBM technology, and also where you can implement these applications. Now you have to understand how can you build these cognitive computing solutions. And building a cognitive computing is not a very easy task. So for example, developing machine learning models not only consumes significant computing power, but also adds technical depth with every learning life cycle. That is why for a long time, cognitive was limited to large enterprises such as the Fortune 500. And this has been completely overturned by the cloud. Cloud allows developers to build cognitive models, test solutions, and integrate with existing system without needing of any physical infrastructure. So we can make use of cloud to develop these cognitive computing application without having a physical infrastructure. So having a physical infrastructure will cost a lot. So by moving all these technology onto a cloud, you can have number of benefits. Those benefits could be optimized resource utilization. So enterprises no longer need to spend on cognitive ready infrastructure. The cognitive cloud can be used and when required, can be used when it is required, and you can stop that service whenever it is idle. And also it can access wider skill sets. So instead of hiring an in-house data scientist for AI modeling or building AI models, enterprises can partner with this cognitive cloud vendors at a flexible monthly rates. So this is particularly useful for those those companies who's facing sluggish digital transformation. And then you can accelerate the project. So the overloading, planning, investment, and setup period is readily replaced by ready to deploy solution. So some cloud vendors even offers customizable and default AI models. So given these undeniable advantages, tech vendors around the world are eager to mark their mark in cognitive computing. So, in which IBM is one of the most used. IBM Watson AI services are the most used services in today's world. So whenever you talk about the cloud actually gives some sort of service models with which you can leverage your applications on. These three services could be infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now let's understand what are all these services are. What do you understand by infrastructure as a service? The definition of infrastructure of a service means only the infrastructure is given to you and everything else is taken care by the other party. So something that you put in the way you want it and then you can use it. For example, suppose you rent a house. Now the owner gives you a house and says to use it the way you want and you pay the rent for the usage. So you are paying the owner for the house, and when you get inside, you'll not have anything in the house. So you should have utensils for the kitchen, you should have some sort of furniture for the livelihood, and also what you do, you set up the house the way you want and you use it, and then you can go ahead and and then you can implement whatever the things that you want in your house. So basically you're setting up the infrastructure and you are taking care of all the things. So some of the benefits for this infrastructure as a service is it is dynamically scalable, rented or licensed like a pay as you go model, several levels of services, and 100% resource availability. Now that you understood what infrastructure as a service is, now we have another sort of model, which is platform as a service. So platform as a service, here your cloud provider gives you the complete platform to use. So when I say the complete platform to use, it means the provider takes care of all the underlying parts of the infrastructure. For example, your servers are taken care of and your virtual machines are taken care of. You're given some, you'll be given some predefined tools with which you can build your application. So some of the benefits of using PaaS, the PaaS are like faster deployment and delivery, create or deploy applications, easily upgradable, provides backup, recovery, and data. And also it is easy to access for multiple locations. And then we have another service, which is software as a service. So software as a service is nothing but it means the cloud provider is giving you the complete software like servers, databases, application codes in the form of a service. For example, Gmail, where you exchange emails without worrying about what is happening in the background. All you have to do is type your email and it gets delivered to the person you want to deliver. You're not concerned about how the platform works, what are the security concerns, what if the server goes down, where is the mail getting stored. It's none of our concern. So the service providers are providing you a complete software or an application in the form of a service. That is why this architecture is called software as a service. And the benefits could be on-demand service, independent platform, no need to install anything, and it is available 24/7. So IBM Watson, so if you see there is some difference between infrastructure as a service, PaaS, and SaaS. So SaaS means service provider manages everything. If it is platform as a service, your application and data are to be managed by you, and then every other aspects are being managed by the service providers. And then if it is an infrastructure as a service, virtualization, storage, network, and visualizations will be taken care by service providers. And your app, your data, your runtime, your middleware, your OS, all should be managed by you. And on premises is nothing but another service where all the things are to be managed by yourself. So now, whatever the services that AI services that IBM Watson is providing is a kind of software as a service. So it has APIs. With the help of those APIs, we can get connected to, we can make use of those services. We can train our models. We can use already built models. So we have different kinds of services in IBM, like text to speech, speech to text, natural language understanding, Watson Assistant. So all these are the services with which you can leverage your applications on. So you'll be knowing about all these applications within few minutes. So by this, I would like to conclude my session, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. All right, SaaS, PaaS, and infrastructure as a service. All right, let's see infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service. Yes, you can use Watson for academic purposes without cost. We have you have a light plan for that. You can use it. Well, yes. And yeah, so coming to infrastructure as a service. So here your provider is providing you an infrastructure, and where you can relay your or leverage your applications on. So it will take care of all the memory, storage, and CPU network. But if you want to build, for suppose, let's take it will just give you some sort of virtual servers where you can leverage your applications on. So for suppose, if you want to build any any application, then it will provide the infrastructure, and whatever all the features that your application needs, that should be taken care by you. For example, I've given a house example, right? So you have a house, but he's just giving you a house, but it has nothing in it. So whenever you want to use that house, you have to first set up the house. You have to have utensils in the kitchen. You have to have furniture in the kitchen. So all that things should be taken care by you, and of course you will be paying for the house. You're staying in the house and you're paying for the house. In the same way, your cloud will provide some sort of infrastructure, and in that infrastructure you can leverage your applications as you want. This is what infrastructure as a service is. Now, platform as a service is nothing but it will give some sort of platform where you can host your applications, or you can use those you can use the services to leverage your applications on. In this platform as a service, you will be managing regarding your data and also your apps, but everything will be taken care by the server provider. So the amount of data that you would like to store, what is the OS that you want to use, what is the runtime you want to use, all those things can be taken care by the cloud providers. But only you have to manage is your application and your data. And then you have software as a service. It is directly giving you a software, and you can use that software without knowing about it. So like you have Gmail, Dropbox, everything, right? On-premise is nothing but it's your own computer where everything, or your own server where you will be taking care of everything. So the server, the storage, the network, everything will be on your hand. You can consider that as your own computer, Ahmed. So based on your applications, you would use any of the model from the cloud. So now If you want to develop your own application, you can, but you want to use the cloud provider, then you can go for infrastructure as a service. You just want to make use of, you just don't want to do anything, but you can just want to use the service, then you can go for software as a service. And if you want to host any of the applications also, then you can use the platform as a service. SaaS, software as a service, everything is taken care by the provider itself. So for suppose if you want to build a machine learning algorithm, you should have a system, you should have a GPU for it, you should have data, you should have everything, and then you can build your models. But if you use the software as a service, you directly give whatever the data you have, then the model building, the environment, everything will be taken care by the cloud itself. That is the benefit of software as a service. So now if you have done with your questions, then I can hand over the session to Meghana.
Thanks, Pradipti. We don't have Megan, unfortunately.
All right.
She's on other work.
All right, Hemant.
Thanks for the session, Pradipti. Now, I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Muhammad Sharif.
Hey guys, this is Muhammad Sharif speaking. I'm a developer advocate at IBM Egypt. Just before starting, let me make sure that my voice is clear enough for all of you.
Yes, you are clear, Mr. Muhammad.
Okay, so before starting...
yeah, sorry to interrupt. Ms. Pradipti, I would like you to stop your share screen, like sharing your screen. Yeah, thanks. So over to you, Muhammad.
Thank you. So before we start, I think it's best to give like a 5-minute break for everyone. However, this break, you can use it to click the link I just pasted inside my chat, inside the chat section. This link will prompt you to IBM Cloud, where you can register to your free account that you're going to be used throughout this session and through all the upcoming sessions, and can even help you with building your project. So during this 5-minute break, please take the time to register and confirm your emails to be able to follow a step-by-step tutorial for today. So with that, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Mr. Mohammed, I guess participants have their IBM Cloud accounts, as we have, given the link, YouTube link to create the IBM Cloud accounts. As a prerequisite, we have mentioned them.
Sorry, your voice was not clear enough.
I hope our students have registered for IBM Cloud accounts. We have mentioned it as a prerequisite.
Okay, perfect. So I guess we're good to start right now. Okay, so just before starting, let me make sure that everything related to cloud computing specifically discussed earlier is clear, and each and every one of you has an understanding of cloud computing in general and the service models. Then we can proceed to IBM Cloud specifically. Okay, so I believe everything is good. So let me share my screen. Sorry guys, I'm having some issues with sharing my screen. Everything should be fixed soon.
Can you know what problem you're facing, Mr. Mohammed? As you're a co-host, you have a permission for the sharing.
Yeah, I have to grant permission. So unfortunately, I have to leave the meeting and rejoin again. So I'm sorry, I'll be back in a minute.
Yep, sure. In the meanwhile, can I hand over the session to Mr. John?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, Mr. John. I hope I'm audible to you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. So we're back now. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen right now. Okay, so as you can see, this is the home of IBM Cloud. So before starting, let me give you a brief on IBM Cloud. IBM Cloud contains more than 200 different services, starting from classic infrastructure to virtual servers, other deployment options like Cloud Foundry, Cloud Functions, Kubernetes, and OpenShift. Of course, many of you might not know anything about what I've just mentioned, but That's why I'm here. Other services like AI-related services and Watson-related services, chatbots, natural language processing services, machine learning services, visual recognition services, and many, many more, all the way to databases and networking solutions, security solutions as well. More, as I mentioned, more than 200 different services are available for use on IBM Cloud, with more than 60 data centers in 19 countries all over the world for you to have the best experience using IBM Cloud. So let me start with showcasing the homepage of IBM Cloud. As you can see, you can always check the catalog for services. You can go and check the documentation for each individual service. As you can see on the left, you can see a tab of different deployment options, starting with the classic infrastructure, which is basically infrastructure as a service. So you get handled, let us see it together. You get handled the infrastructure using the number of services and specs you need, and you have to take care of the rest, which is basically the infrastructure as a service. Moving on is Cloud Foundry, which is a platform as a service where you can easily, using few clicks, deploy your application, being provided the runtimes and libraries needed, and all you need to provide is your source code and your data for your application to be up and running. And next comes the IBM Cloud Function, which is known as the serverless computing. Serverless computing is basically having some back-end functions, more like APIs. You just provide the code for this API, and you get charged by per hit. So whenever your API is hit, it's typically offline. It's not hosted somewhere specifically. However, whenever this API or function is called by a client, you get charged by a hit, and this function comes online and does its purpose and goes offline again. It's usually used for maybe, as I mentioned, APIs, mobile backends, and so on. Next comes Kubernetes, which is a container orchestration platform where you can deploy your workload in a container like environment. And of course, OpenShift, which is the enterprise version of Kubernetes, and many, many more, and many options for you to deploy your application. So let us take also a look on Watson service. So from here, we can just browse the catalog. As you can see, this is what I've been speaking of: Cloud Foundry, Kubernetes, machine learning services, Watson Assistant, which is the chatbot service provided by IBM Cloud, Analytics, and Watson Studio for AI and machine learning services. And going down, we can even look at the services provided inside the catalog. We can choose our category. For example, let's choose AI and machine learning. Watson Assistant, as I mentioned, is for the chatbot. Watson Studio, where you can embed your data and create your custom machine learning models. Language translations, many, many more services: text to speech, speech to text, natural language understanding, tone analyzer, and many, many more. So let's, for example, take an example for how you can provision or how you can start your service. So let's, for example, try a Watson Assistant. You can easily, I'll try to go slow as possible so that everyone can follow my steps. So let's start over for those of you who would like to follow me. So clicking the catalog. On the left, you can click services and choose the AI or machine learning category. You'll find Watson Assistant, the first service available. Of course, most of the Watson or the AI or machine learning services contain a light plan for students or anyone who would just like to try the service without having to pay. So as you can see, this is the light version of Watson Assistant. It gives you up to 10,000 messages per month, where you can use freely. Also, we have a pricing called Plus Trial, and then Plus and Premium. It all depends on your usage. So for today's tutorial sake, we'll just use the light version, and we'll have to get to the bottom of the page and give it a name. In my case, I'll just leave it as it is and click Create Service. Okay, so our Watson Assistant is ready to launch. Of course, you can always upgrade your plan. You can always get started or check the API documentation. Here are the credentials needed to integrate your assistant to your application. And let's just launch Watson Assistant and start playing around. Okay, so by default, there's an assistant created for you. Okay, so in your case, you can choose that you're a student, and you'll be guided step by step. You'll be introduced to Watson Assistant. You'll be introduced to intents, entities, dialogues, and everything you can do with Watson Assistant. Okay, so this is our Watson Assistant. I'll not go deeply inside Watson Assistant since there is specific sessions to discuss this. However, this was me showing you how you can create your first service using IBM Cloud. Now let's get back to IBM Cloud and let's deploy our first application to the cloud. So after this tutorial, each and every one of you will have their first application deployed and running on IBM Cloud. So as I mentioned, there are many ways that you can deploy your application to the cloud. For assistance, there is a tool called Node-RED, which assists you in deploying a Node.js application to the cloud, and also giving you a cloud database, which is a database adopted by IBM. So let's get started. We'll give my application a name. For me, I'll just leave it as it is. Of course, the platform here is Node.js. Of course, you can deploy your application using the programming language you like. However, Node.js is just specifically for Node.js. So, okay, here is the pricing plan. You can always choose the light plan. However, for me, since I already have a cloud instance deployed and running, so I'll just choose my cloud instance from here. Since you can only create one light cloud instance at a time, and I already have one, so I'll just choose it from here. However, for you guys, all you have to choose is leave it as a light plan, and a new cloud instance will be created for you automatically. So now let's create our application. Okay, so this is the Node-RED application details. Excuse me. So this is the source code of the application. Of course, it's a simple application. We don't really care about the application itself. However, right now, all we care about is how you can deploy your application. So let's start with deploying our application, and then we can get back to this page and explain what's really happening. So as you can see, whenever I choose deploy my application, I'm giving the options to choose the deployment type I need. The simplest and easiest one is called Cloud Foundry. So I'll just choose Cloud Foundry, and here an IBM Cloud API key is needed, which are the credentials that link my IBM account to my service. So I'll just generate a new API key. Okay, so since my API key is generated, I'll need to choose the region for my application. For me, the region is Frankfurt. There must be an organization present, a Cloud Foundry organization present. So to create a new Cloud Foundry organization, all you have to click is click on this blue button and choose a name for your organization, and then come back to this page and you're ready to go. So as you can see here, this is going to be the URL of my application, Node-RED application .eu /de, which is frankfurt.mybluemix.net. Then I'll just click next, and I configure the Devops toolchain for deploying my application, and for continuous integration, continuous deployment, and monitoring, and so on. So actually, there's not much configuration needed. All I have to do is just choose the region, which is, again, I'll choose Frankfurt, and then I'll create my deployment. So I'll tell you guys what's happening. Somebody is asking how to have the API key. You don't need to have the API key. All you have to do is click on the add button, as I did, and a new API key will be generated automatically for you, where you can copy, of course, and use this API key elsewhere. Okay, so currently my application is being deployed. The deployment target I chose is Cloud Foundry. Okay. So now that the application is being deployed, as you can see, let's have a look on the source code of my application. Here it is, deployed inside a repository inside IBM Cloud. Here's the source code. As I mentioned, we don't really care about the source code. However, we can update our code from here, or you can even clone your code locally and push it back on, just as you're dealing with GitHub. Okay, so the cloud and service is up and running. You can get access to the credentials from here. What else? Here are the instructions for you to do what we are doing, but on the terminal or using the command line. You can easily follow these steps to change in the code locally and then redeploy your application. Now let's take a look on what is actually happening right now. So these are the steps of the Devops toolchain that we configured later. The first thing is the code itself. It gets pushed inside the repository inside IBM Cloud. Then you can gain access to the Eclipse Orion Web IDE to change in the code. And then the most important stage, which is actually delivering the application. Let's get inside and take a look on what's going on. So the first thing is building our application, converting our application from just a code to a container, since Cloud Foundry is a container-based deployment. So our application, our container is first built and then is being deployed. As you can see, it's rolling deployment. You don't have to bother yourself with building or containerizing your application. Everything is done automatically for you. And now the deployment is going on. So this is the log for deploying our application. It may take up to 5 minutes. Okay, so the deployment is running. Let's give it its time to complete. Let's get back to our home. Okay, so this is our application home. So some of you are mentioning in the chat that they are having an issue with creating a Cloud Foundry organization. So let's see together what the problem is. From manage, you can choose account. And on the left tab, you can choose a Cloud Foundry orgs. As you can see, I have one already. Okay, so I am limited to only one light Cloud Foundry organization. However, let's get inside. This is how my Cloud Foundry organization looks like. Exactly, for everyone, please choose London as the region. as you can see, once after creating the organization, you can add users to your organization. You can even choose a system domain if you have any custom domain, and everything. You can add your own space, a development space, a production space, and everything. So let's get back to our application and take a look on what's going on. So this is the resource list of all the services created on my account. So as you can see, they are grouped together by category. So in the apps category, we can find our Node-RED application. Which is deployed successfully. As you can see, the status is success. And an app URL is generated for me. So we can easily just click on the URL, and here is our Node-RED application. As I mentioned, we don't really care about the application itself. However, all we care about is the deployment of the application. Since now we already have our first application on the cloud. Using this application, we can leverage many other IBM cloud services. As I mentioned, any cognitive computing service, any AI related and machine learning services can be easily integrated to your application. So I think we had a tour inside IBM Cloud. I think this brief introduction will help you in developing your project. And thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for the organizers of this event, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Sharif. Now I would like to invite Mr. John from University Relations, IBM.
Thank you, Hemant. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir. You can proceed.
All right, wonderful. Thank you for having me on the call. As has been mentioned, my name is John Matogo. I work in IBM in the IBM research, and my responsibilities in the global university programs, where we work with our university partners to give access to various IBM technologies for the purposes of research and innovation. So at the moment, I think you've had a very good presentation from my colleague Mohammed. You've heard a lot about IBM Cloud, and you realize that it's actually a very useful resource that you can use for the work that you are doing. So what I will be doing here is to show you how you can access IBM Cloud, a lot of resources from there, and then also how you could enhance your free IBM Cloud with more services that he described. So just give me a second, let me load up my presentation. I will also put up a link in the chat that I ask you to open up on your page, and then we can look at it together. Thank you. Okay, so just confirm for me if you can see my screen on your side.
Yes, John, it's visible.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, so like I was mentioning, I'm responsible for the academic collaboration for IBM for the region in Africa. So if you want to access some IBM resources and you'd like to utilize them for your academic purposes or research, I'll be happy to assist you with that. So my information is indicated there. Please feel free to reach out to me. So for today's session, what I would like to do is to just show you how through this period when you're doing the Build-A-Thon, you can access various IBM technologies for your innovation. So let me just take a moment just to do a bit of a spiel about IBM, because this is something that's always important. I realize, especially when I talk to people, that IBM is not so visible to everyone. So just by the way of making this interesting, how many of you know how old IBM is? So just anyone who would have a guess of how old IBM is. You can just drop it in the chat. Anyone has an idea of how old IBM is? Okay, 100 years. Someone came very close, 109, 100 years, close. Okay, more, okay. So then, someone got it correct, 110 years. So believe it or not, this year in June, I believe, IBM will be celebrating 110 years of existence. And by the way, during this period of time, IBM has been at the forefront of technology innovation. If you look at technology innovation over this period of time, a lot of the notable milestones actually IBM was involved in them. Another thing that I would also might surprise you is that IBM has technology plays in almost any vertical of society you can think of, be it in the financial services sector, in banks and insurance, in telco, in manufacturing, in aviation, all these different industries, IBM has some technology that plays one part or another in that particular industry. Right now, the focus or the main area that IBM is putting a lot of emphasis on is on the area of hybrid cloud. From the short presentation Mohammed gave a few minutes ago, you realize that IBM has really a great platform for cloud, and also in the area of artificial intelligence. The picture that's at the bottom of this slide here shows a snapshot of a Jeopardy program that was there some years back, where our IBM AI engine Watson was put up against the champions in this particular show. And as you can see here, Watson actually won this particular challenge. And since then, really that technology has been improved and is now being used in a lot of different sectors. So what I just wanted to show you with that short slide is that, this places IBM at a very unique position. We have this long history of innovation, over this 110 years being a leader. By the way, just to give you an indication, so last year for the 28th year in a row, IBM was recognized as being the patent leader in terms of the number of patents that we've put out there, technology patents that is. So this long history of innovation, this breadth in terms of industry experience really puts it at a unique position. And also our firm belief on trust and security of our clients, I think is something that really makes IBM unique. And this is why I think some of the offering that we would like to share would be very interesting for you as you look to innovate, and also in your academic career, you are trying to get your innovations out there. So what I want to share with you this evening is one of our programs that we share for academia. One of the things that I was made to understand is a lot of you are students in one way or another, taking training in a university. So what I would like to share with you is one of the offerings. We have very many program that we run with universities. But for the purposes of this activity that you're doing this week, I will share with you one way that you can get access to various IBM resources. So if you'd like to download IBM software, you'd like to enhance your cloud access, or get access to some learning material, you can do that through this program I will share with you called IBM Academic Initiative. So I'll take about 10-15 minutes just to show you how to access that. Maybe share with you a few examples of resources you can get from there. Then I'd encourage you to also just go ahead, get into the IBM Academic Initiative, download a feature code for IBM Cloud that you can insert into your IBM free cloud account that you can register for, and that will enhance your access so that instead of putting in your credit card, you can use your academic initiative to give you a few more credits on IBM Cloud. Okay, so let's begin. So the academic initiative is really a portal that IBM gives access to the academic community. And we do this at no charge. So if you're a student, if you're a faculty member in a university, you can get access to a lot of IBM resources. So here I'm talking about IBM Cloud services. You can get access to IBM software. And this is software that we sell commercially to companies. So if you think about a bank, you think about an insurance company, or you think about an airline, this is software that we actually sell to them, and they pay us a lot of money for it. But for students, for faculty, we give you this software at no charge. And the idea is that to give you an opportunity to try out to use this software, to get experience on it, so that when you join the workforce, you are able to be familiar with these technologies. We also give you access to compute capacity. So as my colleague was showing you on IBM Cloud, you can get a lot of services that you can use for artificial intelligence, for IoT, for blockchain, and so on. That can be available on IBM Cloud. And there's also a lot of learning material or online courses, e-learning courses that you can get access to also from Academic Initiative. And you can take the test and you get the digital badge if you pass the test. And this is great because you can share this out on your social media to show that you really have expertise in those particular areas. So it's extremely simple, believe it or not, to access all this value from IBM. So you just go to this website, ibm.com/academic, and you register on that. It's fairly simple. I will just walk you through that, and you can get access to all these resources. So I will spend a few minutes just showing you the steps. And then since we are all online, I would I'll give you 2-3 minutes to just go ahead and access that. And then let's walk through the academic initiative together. So step one is very easy. You just go to the website, ibm.com/academic, enter that in your browser, and you get a page that looks like this one here, appearing on your screen, and you can see the link that says register now. You just click on that register now button, and it opens up a page similar to this here. Now remember, we're giving you access to a lot of IBM technologies, which we sell commercially. Remember, IBM is a commercial business eventually, but we're giving this service to you because you are students at a university, and we have a strong partnership with universities. And so what we require you to use when you register on the platform is your university email ID. So you need to enter your university email ID. So for example, if I'm a member of the UVT community, I would enter my username at uvt.tn. Or if I'm from any other university, Esprit, UTM, a lot of the universities in Tunisia are part of the academic initiative already. So you should have no challenge getting in here. So you enter your university email address and you click on submit. If that is okay, you'd get to this screen here, indicate whether you're a student or a faculty member. If you're a student, you just show your current degree. So for example, if I'm a master's student, maybe I have a first degree, a bachelor's, I can indicate a bachelor's here, or maybe I'm a PhD student, I can say I have a master's or something like this. Or if I am an undergraduate student, I can say here none. I don't have any previous degree. And then in the short degree, you can say which degree you're working towards. So if I'm a PhD student, I'll say I'm working to a PhD. If I'm a master, I work for masters. If I'm doing my bachelor's, I can indicate it's a bachelor's or a bachelor or a diploma, whatever the case may be. And the date you expect to graduate. So this doesn't have to be super accurate. You can say maybe I plan to graduate in 2022 or whichever month. So it's something that is close here. And then also the department that you belong in. So if you are, for example, in the Faculty of IT, School of Medicine, School of Humanities, Faculty of Science, whatever the case may be, you just choose the one that comes closest to the one that talks about your institution. And then I mentioned to you that there's a lot of nice e-learning courses available there that you can take the test and you get the badge. So I would choose yes to become in this badging program. If I'm a faculty member, so I will choose I'm a faculty member, and then I indicate my current degree. Maybe I have a PhD or I have a master's. I can choose that, and also the department I'm in. And similarly, I would say yes, register me for the digital badge program. The bottom information here, very important. Usually when you open this link here, these check boxes are not active. So if you want to activate this, you need to click on the text here, the Academic Initiative Terms of Service. So you click on that, it will open up a window that will tell you what the terms of service are. Basically, what it will be asking you is to confirm that you are going to use the academic initiative for academic purposes. So you're not going to open up a shop and begin selling the software that you download, okay? So extremely simple. So once you accept that, this will become available and you can click on that. And then the privacy consent here, you click on this again. It will open up a window here telling you that IBM will not use your information for any purposes outside academic initiative. If you accept that as well, then you click on this, and then this register button will become available. So fairly simple, straightforward just to make sure that you accept those terms. Then if you're done with that, you're almost finished. If already you have used that university email ID as an IBM ID, so for example, if you used it to register for IBM Cloud, then you'll be done. You just go back to the Academic Initiative website, ibm.com/academic, and you sign in with your password. If this is the first time you're using your university email address as an IBM ID, then you need to create it as an IBM ID. So it will open up for you this step over here, where you put in that email address, your university email address, you put in your name, and then you create your own unique password, which has got this rules here. Automatically, the country of residence will appear here. So in my case, because I'm based in Kenya, it picks up Kenya, but in your case, it will pick up the country where you're located. So if you're in Tunisia, it will pick Tunisia. If you're in another country, it will pick another country here. Then you click on next. Then what will happen? It will send an email. The system will send an email to this email address here to confirm that you're the one. You open your email, you confirm that email, and then click on create account, and voila, you're done. You've created your IBM ID and you're ready to use the academic initiative. So you go back to ibm.com/academic, and then you sign in with that email address, and you can begin downloading the software. So fairly simple, straightforward. With those few steps, you get access to IBM Academic Initiative. Okay. So shall we try that together? Let me just go back to the beginning. As you can see, it's just very few 8 steps that we can do together. So I will pause I'll be quiet for a few minutes unless you have questions, and I will let you just do the process. All of you can register, and then I will ask you to download the IBM Cloud feature code so that you can now stick that into your IBM Cloud account and enhance your services there. Okay. So open up your browser. You can minimize the Zoom for a moment. Open up your browser, and then let us try and create your academic initiative. So remember here, you need to have your university email ID for you to get access to this. Okay, so as you're doing that, in case there's someone who has a challenge, please feel free to just chat that one out for me, and then we can sort it out. So step one, go to your browser or open a new tab and go to ibm.com/academic. Click on the register now button. In the next page, enter your university email ID. Like I said, most of the universities in Tunisia are registered, so you should have no problem. If there is one that might not be registered, an email will come to me and I could approve it, no problem at all. But you cannot use your Gmail. You cannot use a Gmail account. So sorry, if you use a Gmail, there is no way to know that you are part of a university. So this program is specifically for universities. Okay, once you enter that there, then you can go in there. If you're a student, you pick student and enter the details. If you're faculty, you enter those details. So I'll pause for 3 minutes while you register, and then we can proceed to look at what's available behind there together. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'll be ready to guide you in case of any challenge. Okay, so as you register, you need to, those who completed successfully, you can just raise your hand so you can see, or you can mark on the chat that you've completed. Excellent. So I can see there's a comment here. Can I use this type of email? So IEEE.org, unfortunately, is not a university, so it will not be registered. The academic institution website, correct, the domain of your university. So for example, if you're in UVT, your domain is uvt.tn. Excellent. I can see a number of people who are confirming they're done. So you need to use your email address. So for example, it will be username at uvt.tn, or it could be, the domain could be esprit.tn, or, it depends on the university you are part of. Others who have managed to do it successfully, show of hands or mark done. Okay, good. More. I would like to see at least 75%. And then we can proceed. Excellent. Keep on going. 2 more minutes. Let's give it 2 more minutes. Excellent. So if you have a challenge, please drop me an email drop me an email with your domain, or you can put your domain, your institution domain on the chat. Make sure you don't leave any spaces before or after the university domain, or before or after your email address, because sometimes if you leave some spaces, it does not complete very well. Okay, Mo, I see you're doing it. Okay, excellent. So if you complete it, just log back into the website and then we can see what's available behind there. Okay. One more minute for anyone who's still finalizing. Okay, remember your university, it has to be a registered university in your country for this to work. So we'll check, I'll just check that your university is registered. If not, we'll get it registered and you can try it again in the course of today. Anyone else facing difficulty, please put your institutional email domain on the chat and then we can go ahead and sort it out. Okay, so I see a good number of colleagues have managed to do it successfully. For the few who did not manage to sort it out, no problem. We will just do that in the course of today, and then you could try it out a little later. I'm just taking note of your domains that you. Anyone else got a challenge with the domain? Please put it in the chat and then we'll sort that one out. Okay, so what do you find behind the academic initiative? Let's just have a look at what's behind there. If you've managed to log in, I'm sure you'll see a lot of different tabs. Let me show you, for example, if you're keen on security, you'll find that there is resources around security. You can see that there is course material there, there is software, there is badges there that you can get access to. If you're big on security, for example, you'll know there's an important tool called QRadar. You can download that, or I2. You can download that as well. If you are big on data science, there's a lot of data science material there. There is links to different course material that you can access to. There is software for data science. For example, if you're big on doing things like linear programming, there's a tool on iLog Cplex. There is SPSS model that is very good for analytics, predictive analytics. So there's a lot of material there. For the purposes of this exercise, because my colleague was showing you items on cloud, I'll spend a little more time here on the cloud resources. So under cloud, you'll find that under the IBM Cloud tab, you'll find that there's resources on how to use your IBM Cloud account. You can very easily go to IBM and search for IBM Cloud, to the internet and search for IBM Cloud. You can, for free, register for an IBM Cloud Lite account, which will give you access to a lot of services that you can use if you're doing any work on IBM Cloud. However, through the academic initiative, you can download a feature code that will enhance your access to the IBM Cloud. So if you'd like to develop some applications, instead of inserting a credit card, you could use the feature code that you get from here that will enhance your IBM Cloud, and you can do many more things. So for those who successfully managed to log on to the academic initiative, please go to the IBM Cloud, into the IBM Cloud section for the academic initiative, and choose to get an IBM Cloud feature code. So you'll get a code that you can now, I will show you how to insert that into your IBM Cloud account. In addition to that, there's also a lot of learning material on IBM Cloud that you can go in there and learn about. There are some training courses, and if you complete that, you can actually get the badges for it. So allow me to just switch screens, and then I also go to my academic initiative just to show you, for those who've not been able to get it now, how they can get access to these same resources. So just let me switch screens. Let me stop the share and open up my browser. Okay, let me share the screen up. So if you manage to log on to your cloud, to your academic initiative account, okay, you'll have a screen similar to this here. So you can see here under technology, you have a number of different technology you can look at. So IBM Cloud, data science, security, quantum, and so on. For the purposes of this exercise, I was asking you to look at IBM Cloud. So here you get an overview of some of the things you can get from IBM Cloud. Under the resources, I talked about, you can get some jumpstart courses on IBM Cloud, get started on how to use IBM Cloud. Let's say almost similar to what Mohammed presented to you a few minutes ago, the different services that are available there. You can look at that. You can learn how to develop your own TJ bot application and so on. What I wanted you to look at, if you go to the software section, here you can see how to create your IBM Cloud Lite account. But more than that, this is what I wanted you to do. So you could request a feature code, and this feature code is what you will use to enhance your cloud, your IBM Cloud account that will give you access to even more services. There's also course material here that I referred to, so some training material, and also you get some access to some, you can get some IBM badges if you complete those learning. When you request for your IBM Cloud feature code, so you click on request feature code. So similar to what I'm doing here, you can see I get a code like this one indicated over here. Then you take that code, you copy that code, and then when you go to your IBM Cloud account, there's a place where you can insert your IBM Cloud feature code. And there's also documentation on how to apply your IBM feature code in this link here. So if I click on this one here, I can open this document here, which will just guide me on how to apply my IBM Cloud feature code. So when you log on to your IBM Cloud account, on that interface is a place that says manage. You go in there, click on manage, go to the account details, under account settings, similar to the way you go in to put in your credit card details, but there's a section that says subscription and feature code. So you click on apply code. That code that you received from that link that I showed you before is what you apply inside here. When you click on apply, it will then extend your cloud account for a number of days. So if you're a student, it will give you access for 6 months. If you're a faculty member, it will give you access to enhanced access to your IBM Cloud account for 12 months. So I'd encourage you to do that if you're going to do some innovation on your IBM Cloud account or to do some project. This will help you to utilize your IBM Cloud with more functionality. Okay. So this is what I wanted to share with you for this session. I had about 25 minutes for my presentation. I've used about 20 of those. I want to spend the next few minutes just responding to any questions or any queries that you may have. So I see, okay, I'll take note of the domains that we're not able to access. Some people could not agree to the privacy. Unfortunately, that was the only way to proceed. And the privacy document is fairly standard. It's basically saying that IBM will not use your privacy information for any commercial purposes, so you don't need to worry about that. It's a pretty standard and straightforward document. Someone is asking me to repeat So I will just do that very quickly. So to access to IBM Academic Initiative, just go to ibm.com/academic. And you go to this page here, you'll get a link. Oh, I'm already logged on, so obviously it doesn't show me that. But you'll get a page that will ask you to register. So you click on register now and just go through the processes. The only thing I will say, use your university email ID for you to do that. So you need to use your university email ID. Someone talked about job roles. So if you want to look at different, so on the academic initiative, there's a section that talks about different opportunities. So if you look at careers, it will show you opportunities in for those who want to enhance their work on cloud. So you'll get guidance on that. I will leave you to do more investigations on that by yourself. Let me see another question here on the chat. I'm just trying to go quickly as I know my time is running out. I've taken note of the links of the domains. I will get that one done. Okay, someone is saying, but I think that domain is registered. So please try again the domain, because for some of the ones that you're mentioning here, they are registered. Please make sure you do not have a space before or after your email address, otherwise it could give you a problem. Okay, so yeah, if please log on, please try and register on the website. Okay, I see some of you have already got the code, excellent. If your institution is not showing up, try it again later. I will get those domains registered in the next few minutes. Okay, so it's 7:35 on my side here, so I pass it back to Hemant. Thank you, and all the best in the challenge.
Thank you, Mr. John. That's great. That's nice to hear about great offerings by Academic Initiative. Thanks for your time. Finally, I thank all the participants who has given you have given your time and you have spent with us. So thanks for this. Thanks for joining. We'll meet back tomorrow at 3 p.m. CET again. That is 7:30 p.m. IST. Thank you all. Please remember, use the same link as it's a recurring link. The same link will be used to join the sessions till 12th of Feb. Thank you.